guy here. Who do we got there? The Honky Tonk Man. How you doing?
Hey, you got to give me the proper introduction, okay?
I'm sorry. Do you want me to play your theme song? I got your theme song here.
No, I don't care about that.
You sure?
Voted on by the fans of this WWE.com, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
That's right.
Here, seconded by myself, the Hitman.
Brett, it's good to hear your voice, son.
And good to hear you, Wayne. How you doing? Are you down in Arizona?
Good. I was just sitting here thinking about yesterday when the young fellow Josh called to set this up. He said, "What should I call you?" I said, "Well, nobody calls me by my real name." And then I was thinking, Harley Race, my wife, and Bret Hart are the only three people that ever call me by my name. But I appreciate that.
Yes. So how is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time doing these days?
Well, you know, brother, I've just been hanging and banging, brother. I'm doing a lot more hanging than I am banging, brother.
Are you?
But no, I'm still out there doing this little things every now and again just to keep myself going, and I enjoy it. It's easy for me. I do what I want to do, make a few dollars, and drink some beers and have some fun.
Yeah, that sounds good. Have you been watching WWE wrestling?
I'm regretfully have to say that I have not watched one of the shows since I was physically present there, which was a couple of years ago.
Well, that's okay. You're not missing too much. It's gone.
I really don't want to watch things that might poison me, or make me want to start doing something that I normally wouldn't do. So I try to stay away from those shows.
It's there's a little bit more talking now in WWE wrestling than there used to be, like when you were wrestling. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's a TV product now, and you have to look at it that way. It's a television show. It used to be a wrestling show that was on TV. Now it's a TV show that features wrestling. At one time, there was a big ball game down in the States called it was a football game that was featured on TV, and it was called a Super Bowl. Now it's a big TV show that just happens to have a football game.
Now, I'm sure you heard the exchange between Ric Flair and ourselves.
I did. I listened to that, and I didn't have to do any setups or push-ups or anything for the last 2 days because I laughed so hard I thought I was going to have my hemorrhoids are going to run out. They look like cherries. It's hilarious. Woo!
And maybe hit him straight between the eyes with some brotherhood.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he obviously takes himself way too seriously sometimes, especially when you have to keep telling everyone the number of times you were world's champion. Of course, back in our old day, Brett, you knew you don't want to mention how many times you got beat, so obviously he's telling the whole world how many losses he had.
He's, I think, you know, he got pretty upset with me last time I had him on, right? And, I mean, he seems like an upset guy with us for some reason.
Well, you know, he and I had a few issues, but I don't know if we still do. If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. It doesn't bother me.
Well, we're going to try and get him on the line for you.
Well, I was with Terry Funk about a month ago, and let me do my best Terry Funk. He said, "Have you seen that Ric Flair? He gets on TV, he starts yelling and screaming. He's all purple. He looks like he's going to blow a gasket."
That's pretty good, man. Sorry, I wanted to ask you another question here. What's the story with you not going into the Hall of Fame last year?
I had booked myself on these Wizard World comic conventions. I had contracted like 12 or 14 of these jobs with these guys, and the money's decent. I mean, it's not fantastic. I mean, it's not like Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner getting their big guarantees by any means, or Batman, the old guy charging $70, $80 for a signed photo. But we do very well at those things, and by the time they'd call me, I'd already contracted these jobs, and it was a case of I made more in Toronto that weekend at Wizard World than I would have made right here in Phoenix for the 3 or 4 days. The 4 days they tie you up and want to pay you, just a few morsels of mouse food. But Other than that, it was no big deal. They couldn't understand why I wouldn't cancel someone else. I said, well, you wouldn't like me to cancel you, would you, Johnny Ace? Oh, well, we don't mind cancellations. I said, bullshit. So we left it at that.
Well, you know, in the business that you're only as good as your word, and that's important that you kept your word, right?
Well, I try to, and I've lived by that, and you know, and I'll probably die by it. But by the same token, it was a thing where I didn't want them to railroad me into something I didn't want to be doing anyway, and their little no-compete clause, and I didn't want to argue with them about that nonsense. And I, in a way, I thought to have to drive across town was not the fitting thing to do. And once I inducted someone when I wasn't in the Hall of Fame. I shouldn't have even done that, but I did it.
Well, you know, we're trying to get our guy on the line.
So, Brett, I'll see you in May 21st.
Yeah, in with Kirk.
Yeah, Kurt White's the big legend show that's in California, Newark, California.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing you there, Wayne.
Big autograph signing. He does very well with that.
Oh yeah, it's always, I always like going for Kirk. It's always nice and easy and pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I enjoy it myself. He usually calls me every other year, so, and that's fine with me. I don't particularly care about going every year.
I think the Nasty Boys are going to be there, and I'm trying to remember who else. Maybe Duggan.
And Jimmy Hart, and I suppose if Virgil can get enough gas in his car, he'll drive over to Pittsburgh.
Hey, I'm Mr. Honky Tonk Man. Our theme of the day, every day we try to have a different theme on this program, but today's it's what is the best wrestling move you can ever remember. And has there been a specific instance where there was a wrestling move that just blew you away?
I can tell you one that damn near killed me, and I never liked it. And Lou Thez would put it on. It was a short arm scissors, and then he would start rolling with you around the ring. And if you weren't rolling with him and in sync at the same time, it would. I thought he broke my forearm. I really did.
How about the shake, rattle, and roll?
Well, that was that was not the best move that was ever invented. I can tell you when it came to the new guys coming along.
Yeah. Well,
I'll tell you one of the most dangerous, and I don't ever do it. I would never do it, and I tell the kids don't do it. Is this power bomb and these what do they call these things? A hurricane something. I call them a 6-pack of Corona because if you can't say the word, you shouldn't be doing it. Her Corona or so, I don't know what, some nonsense. I don't know what it is.
Hurricanrana.
Yeah. Well, you know, Brett and I, we made our name for ourselves having wrestling matches in Calgary and all across Western Canada without having to do that nonsense. Those guys that did that, they didn't last very long.
All right, Mr. Honky Tonk Man, thank you for your time today, sir. And if we can get Rick on, we'll get you on at the same time.
Okay, I appreciate it, Brett. I will see you then on the 21st, and we'll reminisce about a few things.
Okay, buddy. You take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.